There you are.
Hey, how are you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm having a very relaxing night.
That's good. Same out here. I see
Yeah,
I'm the
good.
first one here.
Yeah, I haven't done this in a long time, so I'm not used to the whole thing right now. So
Right.
it's I don't know if you've been doing this yourself, but
I have. I've actually been doing these since about 2011.
okay. Yeah, the last time I did this was probably maybe about then.
Really? I
The
think this is
first,
the. Oh,
yeah,
pardon.
it's all right.
I think this is the first like public one I've joined. Unless I think Brant Hansen from Air One might have done one once that I had joined.
Good, nice. So how are you?
I'm doing great. It's been a quiet evening out here. Uh,
Where you at?
oh, I'm out here in Arkansas. Where are you?
I'm in Las Vegas.
Awesome. So is it about? Let's see, what 8 o'clock out there?
Roughly about 8:30, actually
Pretty good.
8:34 to be precise.
About 10:30 here.
Yeah. So, what brings you to my live broadcast?
Well, your thing popped up on my Facebook, and I've been a listener for a good few several years. So I thought I'd join in. I thought it'd be pretty fun.
Right on. Well, it's pretty freelance for me. Anything goes at this point. I haven't really made any plans other than to get on here and say hello to people that pop in. So you're the first one.
Sounds pretty good. I didn't know it'd be like I thought it'd be more like a live stream instead of like a personal video chat. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I'm expecting more people to chime in at any time. So hopefully that will happen while we're discussing whatever.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah. So,
See,
you know about my band? You know about?
I have. Let's see. I've known about him since I was around maybe around 10 or 11. I'm 17 now, so.
So, what turned you on to?
Let's see. I think the first time I heard y'all, I was looking around YouTube and my parents showed me a "Calling on You" the music video. I've been a fan ever since. So.
Oh, that's cool. Right on. Have you caught any of the new stuff at all?
Let's see. I have y'all's album, The Covering, and I've recently been listening to a lot of y'all stuff on Spotify.
Right. Yeah, because we have a new album that just released today.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I shall check it out.
Brand new album called Fallen.
Can I get it? Like a physical copy anywhere?
Yes, you can. I think Best Buy will have it.
Oh, sweet. I'll have to pick a copy up there.
I would, if it's Best Buy is very far from you, you better call them and ask them if they have one and have them set it aside because they go really fast.
I'll have to check. I've got one about Best Buy about 15-20 minutes from me. So.
Yeah, the only other way you could get a physical copy is I think Amazon sells them, and if you go to our merchandise website at striper.com, then they have the hard CDs as well.
I much prefer a CD to iTunes.
Yeah.
Especially since I can rip a CD and I like being able to hold it in my hands.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Right on. So I noticed you have some guitars in the background.
I do. Let's see. I've got a few over there, and I've got a Squire Classic Vibe over here. Oh, messed my camera up. I've been playing since 2010. So.
Okay. Yeah.
I like to upload on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. And are you learning a lot from YouTube?
I have. When I first started, I took lessons from at a store, but since I'm mostly self-taught, and I've learned a lot from YouTube and Ultimate Guitar.
Nice. So, were you into playing any style of music, or just
most styles? Rock?
Yeah.
I'm mainly into rock and harder rock.
Yeah.
I play a lot of church stuff too. I play at my church sometimes. So.
That's awesome. Right on. I play at my church too every once in a while.
Sounds pretty good. I'm sure you have to branch out quite a bit from the normal Striper sound.
Yeah, I actually play in several different bands, so it kind of takes me, in a bunch of different, directions when I play. and I have experience playing in many different genres of music as well. So, and recently I've been studying jazz guitar. So
I've looked into it a little bit. It's an entirely different, style of play than what I'm used to.
it definitely will challenge you, to say the least.
Right, definitely. Do you like own a hollow body?
No, I haven't gone that far yet. I have a Les Paul that I play. I use that for most of my jazz stuff. That's where
Pretty
when
good for that.
I have a jazz teacher here in Las Vegas that I go to, and
That's cool.
yeah, and I put a little heavier gauge strings on my Les Paul, and
What kind of strings do you put on it?
just tend to what is that? Tend to I can't even read the box. 10 to 46. I think is it 10 to 46.
Do you use Slinkies or do you use a different brand?
I use blacksmith strings. It's,
I'm not sure I've heard of them.
well, they're kind of a newer company. I don't know if you can see.
I can't.
Is that backwards? It's backwards on my camera.
Oh no, it looks right. I can read it.
Okay, all right. Well, that's what I've been using. It's a company that's. I have friends that do a lot of business in Korea, so they are bringing these to the United States, and a lot of the guitars that you get from, say, you go to Guitar Center and you find American-made guitars that are like, anywhere from $1,300 to $2,500. But then when they have the same brand, but it's the Korean model, so to speak, they make them in Korea.
Right.
They're a little bit cheaper as far as price goes. But when they get them from Korea, the Koreans use these.
So they're pretty good strings.
Well, they're actually very, very good strings.
I'll have to check them out.
Yeah, well, I don't know that you'd have to go check their website and see if there's, because I think they're still trying to gain momentum with retail stores.
Like Amazon wouldn't carry them.
I don't know. You can go and check the Blacksmith String website and see if there's a way to get them through there. They might have. I'm not even sure if they have. They might have a few small stores that are carrying them.
I'll have to see if I can get some. I've mainly stuck to Slinky with my electrics.
Yeah. I used to use Dunlop strings. I was using Dunlop strings for a little while. They've been making the same company that makes the guitar picks.
Right. I use them all the time.
Right. So I was using their strings for a little while, and then before that I was using D'Addario's, and
Right.
And we have a new person here, Alex.
Hello.
Hello, Alex. How are you?
Hey, man.
How you
doing?
I'm good.
Just putting up a shirt. It's really hot here in Brazil.
Oh, nice. You're in Brazil.
Yeah.
That's a long way.
Oh, yeah. Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. What part of Brazil are you in?
I'm in São Paulo. I'm from Rio, originally from Rio. Born and raised. I lived in America for about 20 years. Now I'm back in Brazil. Living in São Paulo. But probably I'm going to go back to Rio because, once you live in Rio, it's really hard to live in another different city,
I could imagine.
Yeah. So we have a friend in common, Chris Delano.
Ah, Chris. Yes, yeah. Chris and Alex.
Yeah. I was raised with her. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We sang together in church and stuff.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes, I love Bossa Cuca Nova music, and
yeah, they're amazing. I just watched them on Rock in Rio, the Rio edition. I worked at the event, and I had to stop everything I was doing just to watch them.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
My biggest question is, when Striper is gonna play in Rock in Rio, man? Everybody's asking this.
That's a good question, and that would be great to be there to do one. That would be awesome.
Then will be awesome. Will be awesome.
Yeah. And I don't really know that answer because really that is up to the promoters that have Rock in Rio going, and they would have to bring us in if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, actually, I'm doing my part in talking and talking and talking. I've been with Roberto Medina, which is the owner of the festival, and I put a word about you guys. And I
Yeah.
said, come on, Roberto, there's the greatest band in the world that never played in Rock in Rio.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'll be honest with you. It was very exciting for me to be in Rio playing in last December. That was amazing. It was just really, really great, and it was great to be in the city and go out and check out some of the sites and everything else, so.
Exactly. Brazilian audiences are amazing because
Yes.
they always sing along. It's a completely different language than English, but they keep the tune and everything. It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, and speaking of Chris, so they were out here playing the Rock in Rio here in Vegas, and I got a chance.
I watched online.
I got a chance to see them live here in Vegas, which was amazing. I was blown away.
They are amazing.
Yes.
So you guys have to do something together, man. Bossa Nova, heavy guitars and stuff like that will be great.
Yeah, I'm actually a big Bossa Nova fan, believe it or not. So I was kind of raised listening to jazz, Latin music, and Bossa Nova music. So
exactly, and the good part on internet, everything becomes like around the corner. So
exactly.
Close, right? So you can share information and talk with each other like you're in the same neighborhood.
Exactly.
So it's a big.
That's awesome, man. That's great. Well, hey, yeah, great, great, Alex. Hey, Don, I see you're the next person on board here. You there, Don?
I think
Hey,
it's
what's
my
happening?
Yeah.
Gotta find the mute button.
Yeah.
I've got to go in the other room because these people are making a bunch of noise.
A lot of noise, yeah.
Hey, so digging the new album. Digging
Great.
the new album for sure.
Glad you like it.
Actually, I've been taking lessons lately, and what I'm focusing on is actually all the songs were pre-released. So I've been learning a couple of the songs from the new album. I'm digging it a lot.
Yeah, that's great. That's great, man. Yeah, I kind of well, I have a website that features
Siraz Studios, I know, right?
Siraz Academy, and I just started posting up Striper lessons, some of the songs.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, it's coming along. I've got a little time off right now, so I've been working on the lesson videos, and I've kind of just been throwing them up as quickly as I could. So the way I edit them, if it's a single guitar song, I'll play obviously through the song as far as the rhythm goes, and then I will blast in another insert of me playing the solo over the top of it. I've managed to be able to edit my video so that it all works together. So I did that with a song called "The Way" from the Devil album, and then I also have
Did a lot of work with Soldiers, right?
What's that?
You did a lot of the Soldiers. Was on the site. I broke down like 4 or 5.
I only have Soldiers on Command as a very detailed lesson, and I thought, man, I took so long doing it. It just took forever. There were too many people complaining that I didn't have enough stuff up. So I thought, well, I'll just kind of throw one up that is a little bit quicker, kind of a quick view of everything, really quick. And then I went into a few details about some of the rhythm parts so that people can really kind of focus in on how to play the song. And I'll do the detailed solo stuff a little bit later.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to throw up as many as I can right now just so people can get a grip on it. And I'm just trying to pick and choose of which ones were the most prominent that people are asking me about. So, and I also have More Than a Man, which was great to do because I was able to do two, actually, I synced to the Michael Sweet part and my part. I'm playing
Nice.
both parts, and you can watch me play both parts at the same time, and it works really well.
Cool.
So that's kind of the newest thing I have going there, as well as tons of other stuff on there that people, if you want to know basic theory or some of my own techniques or some of my gear settings, that's something that I've kind of worked on for the last couple of years, is set up a whole library. So anyway, other than that, I'm glad you're enjoying the new album.
Yeah. And then last thing I'll say, man, is I hope you guys come to Seattle this time.
Yeah, I hope so too. I hope we play a better place than the El Corazon.
Right. Well, it's intimate, right?
Right, it is. It's got a big pole in the middle of the stage. You got to kind of
Even
walk around.
Portland. I mean, we'll come to Portland. That's not that far.
Yeah, that's cool. Right on. And then we also have Mike Ariza.
Hey, bro.
What's going on, my man?
Marta just walked away. She says, hey.
Tell her I said hi.
Hey, congrats on the album, man. Love it.
Thank you. Thank you, bro. Yes.
I'll let you get back to everything, man. Just want to jump in and say, hey, man.
Yeah, man. How you been? You been good?
Doing great, man.
Yeah, good. Is that Marta?
Let me get something real quick.
I see the dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, we missed you guys in Vegas, man. We went out there to see Tremonti.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was a good show. And Marta took me to the outlets. Hurt the bank account pretty hard.
I hear you.
Probably you don't remember that.
Oh, let's see that one again.
Probably you don't remember that.
That looks very familiar.
That's Orlando. Trace Ferriera.
Okay.
Tracy wasn't even an official in Striper, so he was just a tip replacement for Tim. I was living in Orlando then, and we took this picture at Disney. What's the name of the festival again?
Night of Joy.
Night of Joy. That's it.
Yeah.
Night of Joy. Kind of like 10 years ago at least.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Hey, Oz, I'll talk to you later, bro.
Okay, Mike, have a good one, man.
I'll see you soon.
Okay, hopefully we'll catch you soon.
All right,
Yeah,
bye,
I
everybody.
have a question for you.
You have a question?
About endorsements, I saw you guys with a big wall of Mesa Boogies in the news video. So you guys be endorsed by Mesa Boogie as well?
Well, Mesa Boogie is still the amp of choice for me.
Mm-hmm.
I continue to request Boogie dual rectifiers and triple recs whenever I play, because that's usually what you do now. Nowadays, when you go and you play somewhere, you order up some backline, and a backline company brings in all of the amp gear for you, and I can usually bring in my pod HD500, which I have set to the Striper tone, so to speak, and I can plug it straight into the front end of a dual rectifier or a triple rec on a clean channel, and I set it really clean and barky, so it doesn't have any distortion at all, and then the pod does all the distortion and effect work.
You and a pod, like best buddies, right? So you know so well. You don't even need anything else, right?
Well, I mean, the reason why I use the pod is it's convenient. The convenience of the pod gives me the ability to have my sound anywhere I want, as long as I got a clean head. I could even plug straight into a board, and it'll work. It'll get me by.
You just need a DI or something, right?
Right. If I have to go that route, I will. And usually the sound guy uses the DI on the pod, and it sounds wonderful coming out of the front end for him. So it's kind of the best of instead of going somewhere and relying on whatever heads you can get, because you can't always get boogies everywhere you go. And so it's great to be able to have the pod that has all of the sound I can play with, and then just have a clean head of some sort, you know, and it works.
Customized, right?
But boogies, let me tell you, boogies are still, in my opinion, they got the greatest tones for at least for my taste.
Yeah.
And everything else that I've used, there's a lot of great amps out there, but nothing as versatile as a boogie.
What about the range of EQs, right? It's really low and really high, and you can have like beautiful tone in between, so you can put a beautiful EQ without compromising like lows and highs, right?
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. Now I still
felt that in the last record.
yeah I still have an old Mark II-C Mesa Boogie head that
Wow.
I bought in 1986.
Yeah, it's talking about the 80s, right? It's so rare.
That thing is I'll never get rid of that head. That head has been. I sleep with that head, so I don't.
I can imagine.
I don't lose it. You know, it's my favorite head. And it's been on most of the Stryper albums, from Soldiers Under Command all the way till I think the last album I used it on was Murdered by Pride.
Okay.
And, so I used it on every album since then. But then Michael bought a Mark V,
Okay.
and we started using that head.
Which has a deeper punch, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We're like,
Yeah.
Does Michael still use the Sans amp?
brings back more bit, right?
Michael does use the Sans amp, Corey. He likes to use well, actually, it's either Sans amp or Tech 21, one of the two. I don't know if that's the same company or not, but
It is.
yeah.
Everyone makes the Sans amp.
Okay. So he's been using that for years, and he really likes the way it notches his tone.
Right.
He does something with that makes it sound real notchy. Although in the last year he did purchase an Axe-Fx.
Ooh, those are good.
Yeah. So he has one of those that he's taking out on the road. But boy, let me tell you something. When you take those out on the road, they get beat up.
I bet.
They get beat up really bad.
Right?
And it's an expensive unit, and I have one right here. It's in my rack, but I don't take it anywhere.
Right.
It's too expensive. You know, I don't want anything to happen to it. You know.
And actually, if you're inside a small place, you can even put like up to like level 2 or something, right? Because it's way too powerful.
Yeah, yeah.
I think the pod, I've heard like side by side comparisons. The pod might even sound better.
Well, you know, I mean, it just depends. I think if you really know what you're doing with an Axe-Fx, you can get a great tone. You know, it's just that I'm more used to a pod because I've had one for years. I mean,
Right.
before I used the HD 500, I was using the old XT Live, you know, foot pedal, footboard. So I got used to that, and then as soon as the HD 500 came out, I got one of those, and I use that now. But the newest thing I want to get is the new Helix.
I've heard those.
That
Those
would
are
be.
pretty powerful.
I think I really want to check that out and hopefully get my hands on one next year sometime. You know.
Those are pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, we're talking about gear. You were being endorsed by one of those guys who started Jackson Charvel. I forgot the name of the brand you were using. So you're not using this brand anymore. You're not being endorsed. How's your endorsement thing going on the guitars?
You know, really, to be honest with you, I'm not really endorsed by anybody. I don't have any contracts with any company to exclusively use their stuff. Okay, I do have a couple of favorite guitars that I play now. I still have a couple of my old Jacksons, but I don't like to take them out because they're kind of. It's like, why would I want to take something out that's worth a lot of money and is a relic?
Right.
Yeah, and I could lose it very easily, or have it get damaged. I did come across a company called GMW. GMW is a company out of Glendora, California, and the guy that owns the company, his name's Lee Garver, and Lee makes great guitars. He doesn't make a lot of guitars. He makes a few every month, like maybe 15 or 20 or something like that. But he makes great stuff, and so he made a couple of like Striper guitars that were Oz Fox model guitars, and he started selling those, and he actually gives me a percentage of the money whenever he sells one, which is
was he the guy that made Timothy's signature bass?
yeah, that would be the Overture guy, Overture guitars.
Okay, cool.
Amazing.
Yeah. That's the bass that Timmy's using, and they've got a Tin Gaines model Overture guitar. Yeah.
I checked the strings you were talking about. He uses them too.
Yes.
You all broke on the site.
Yeah, he got on board with them too, so we're happy to be a part of that. And I also did get the latest Grover Jackson guitar. Grover Jackson started a new company called GJ2, and it's a great set of guitars that he makes. Very much real quality, just like he did back in the Jackson days, and they're amazing guitars. And one of the things I really love about his stuff is it's very. I don't know what it is, but his guitars are light. Really, I got one right here. This guitar right here is the GJ2 model that I have. It's you can kind of see it's
beautiful. I love this guitar.
That's beautiful.
It's got a great paint job on it. That they really didn't even know that I was going to find it and be all gaga over it. They had it displayed at the NAMM show here, the big music convention show, and I saw it and I picked it up, started playing it, and then they kind of started saying, "Well, Oz, why don't you buy this guitar?" They wanted to give it to me, but I would have had to sign an agreement saying that I couldn't play any other guitars.
No.
And I just thought, I'm not going to do that. I can't afford to do that right now. And anytime somebody wants to do that with you, if they really want you to play their stuff exclusively, they'll give you 5 or 6 guitars and pay you some money.
I wouldn't mind doing that.
Yeah. So, I mean, if somebody wants to pay me, 30 or 40 grand a year to play their guitars and give me whatever I want, then I'll do that.
Yeah.
Michael cut a deal with Washburn, right?
Michael has a Washburn deal. He just got that. He just got a couple of new guitars from them. I have no idea what his deal is, but apparently he really enjoys their guitars, and they sent him some nice stuff. So.
But he didn't record the latest album with that, right?
No, he didn't.
Because it sounds more like the Carvins he used to play.
He had a Carvin that was kind of like his old Randy Rhoads guitar that Carvin made for him, but I think he's played it so much it kind of wore out and started going out of tune a lot, and it just was kind of like one of those things. And then he got into a little bit of a disagreement with Carvin, and now he stopped using them.
I saw the gap tape on the neck.
Yeah. So
I noticed these little things.
Yeah. So he, then he was looking around for some kind of a deal with someone, and actually when we did the new Fallen album, he got a guitar from Guitar Center. It was one of those neck through Charvel. 24 fret Charvel that he got a deal because his son works at Guitar Center in Boston, or Rhode Island, I think is where he's at. But so he got this deal on a guitar that was really great, and he brought that into the studio, and I started playing on them all. Man, I really like this guitar. So I used that on a few tracks as well, you know, just because it sounded great.
American made.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was an American made. I think it might have been a overseas made guitar, but it was nice, you know. It was a nice Charvel.
Cool.
So you know, it's really kind of for me, there's not really any one company that I'm endorsed by. I just have some favorites that I use, and that's kind of the way it is.
There's people helping with strings and stuff like that, right? Pickups. So there's because you're in you're in the industry, right? So people send you a lot of stuff. Like try to use this pickup or stuff like that.
I've been using Seymour Duncan pickups for years.
Mm-hmm.
They give me whatever I want, and they've always taken care of me, no matter what.
What's your favorite pickup by them?
What's that?
What's your favorite pickup that they make right
Oh,
now?
I'm using I've got a couple of different ones that I use. I use the TB1 pickup. It's kind of like a trembucker, but it's got like these weird, funky poles. Here, I got one right here. Let me see. Hang on a second. Let me grab it, and I will show you what it looks like. You can see the. I don't know if you can see the poles are kind of like dual magnet. I don't know what they are. They're like dual.
Yeah.
I don't know what they are. I don't know what you call that.
How
It's
does it
weird.
sound?
They're not like the normal screw cut.
It's a dual magnet, so it separates when they roll in the pickups. You know, they use dual magnet. They actually use Brazilian rolling inside those pickups.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see how the top of it has like this kind of a two dual kind of tip on it at the end of it, where these get more of the screw type of thing, right? But that's a TB1, okay? And then I also use TB6 distortion pickups. That's another one that I use. That's it's got a pretty cool distortion sound. I think that's what I got in my. That's what I'm using in the GJ2. I've got the TB6, and that's more the normal style pole in the middle. But I mean,
try to regulate with a screwdriver to bring it outside.
No, I just leave it flat.
I
don't really adjust them. I don't really have a need to do that. You know, whenever I'm playing something, it just kind of comes straight out. And then on my Les Paul here, I've got TB6s on these.
Whoa!
But they're covered. You can see that. I had them give me ones with covers on them, and they actually tried to age it, so you can see how it looks a little bit aged. I don't know if you can see that, but
actually, it's my favorite color for a Les Paul, black and golden.
Yeah.
I had one just like that.
Yeah, well, this is actually not a real Gibson. It's one of those lawsuit Japanese guitar Greco. See that? It almost looks like it says Gibson, but it says Greco.
I like that.
These guitars were made in like the 70s, and because Japan couldn't afford to get real Gibsons, and so then they were so good and they were made so exact and precise that Gibson had to go over there and sue them.
Exactly. They're actually better than the actual Gibsons, right?
Yeah. And I mean, this guitar is amazing. It's an amazing guitar. I love playing it. I got it as a gift. A good friend gave it to me because he collects these old knockoffs from Japan, and he was actually kind of funny. He was he's my wife's ex-fiance. And we became friends, and he said, "Hey, I want you to have." He has like about 12 different Japanese copy guitars.
That's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I got some interesting stuff here, you know, stuff that I play with. It's kind of fun.
How long do you don't play with like actual pedals? Like You don't feel like the void sometimes, or the need of putting some pedals in series or something like that, or the pod is like everything to you. You don't have to feel any void.
Well, you know what? I mean, to me, I've used pedals before,
Mhm.
and I don't mind using them, but I get everything I need. Everything is in the pod, and I can, yeah, it's all in one. Uh, I could use I can change the volume pedal to be a wah pedal, and I've got inside of it has different stomp boxes, stomp box models, and distortion pedals. You got
Accumulators.
pitch shifting, everything, and it's even got a little bit of a loop record in it too.
Mm.
So, I mean, to me, all in one, and I could just stick it in my carry-on bag and put it on the overhead of the plane.
That's it. You're
Yeah,
done.
it works. And then,
Extra power supplies, extra cables, extras.
yeah,
So it's a hassle. I've been a pedal player for quite a while, and I have a little bit of some rack mount effects units, and I've been using way more than my pedals. My pedals actually are accumulating dust right now. 'Cause
yeah.
I don't have the patience anymore, to set up, to sit down and start plugging in and regulating.
Well, I live in Vegas, and there's a lot of guys from my era that live here, and we all get together and play in different places and whatever. And if I get a call and they want me to come jam, I could just throw my pod, in the car and take off with a guitar, and I'm there. I got all the tone I need,
Have you ever used a Boston Me70? That's what I use. It's it doesn't have menus like a pod, but it works pretty well.
I have an old Boss ME50 that
cool.
I've used at times. I use that. Sometimes I use that at church,
Right.
Classic.
and it works. It works just as good, I mean, the tones aren't quite the same, but I mean, it'll work. It gives me what I need. So it's great.
Yeah, the pod's a little more advanced, but it's a lot easier on I think a Boss to edit something on the fly.
Yeah, you can do a lot more quicker moves with the pod, as opposed to you got to really kind of get into the pages of the pod. With the boss, it's pretty much all right in front of you. You don't have to be scrolling around menus and stuff.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a little bit better in that sense.
Right.
So,
overall, I think pods sound better.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I don't like to mess with my stuff live. I just set it up so that I have all of my different tones in different things. Yeah. I don't have to go down and start tweaking anything unless I really. But like every once in a while, if I want to turn something up, then I'll go down and change it. Right there. It's not that hard because I'm so used to it. I'm used to it. But I never really do that. Not much.
So do you have the 500 or the 500X?
I have the 500.
Cool.
I don't have the X.
I don't know if there's that much of a difference.
How long have you been playing with the pod? Like 5 years now?
Well, I think I got an XT Live probably back in, I want to say 2007 maybe?
Probably because I remember you playing with this unit.
I think I might have had it in 2007.
Mm-hmm.
Is when I finally got my hands on one and started messing with it. And then I remember going into the studio after I messed with it for a while. We actually went in this when we did that album called The Covering.
Mm-hmm.
The beginning. I don't know if you have that album or not.
I have everything.
The first song called "Set Me Free."
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning of "Set Me Free," there's a kind of a weird electronic thing going back and forth. The intro. That's the Pod XT Live doing that.
I actually used
I thought it was keyboards or something.
No, it was the Pod XT Live.
Wow.
What were you gonna say, Cor?
I'm not sure if you're familiar with Vine, but I actually used y'all's cover of Breaking the Law in a Vine I made recently.
Oh, really?
I thought yours was good, and I had a copy. So
Yeah. No, that's cool, man. I don't know.
That's really great.
Against the Law, Against the Law, I ran straight into my boogie head for that.
oh, cool.
For that.
The
sound.
86
That's
one.
my favorite album. Like sound-wise, that's my favorite album.
It's definitely different. It was a totally different vibe. I plugged straight into my boogie head, and I actually used an out of phase, both pickups on my Jackson, two humbuckers that I turn on and I had the pickups out of phase, and it got this real squawky tone that, for some reason, the combination of that and the boogie distortion just screamed. It was really cool.
Like a very like Brian May has his like signature sound on his guitar on Queen is like, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, Against the Law has your like signature sound for your guitars. You know, I in my opinion is when I think like defined the tone of your guitars. You don't know if you follow me. I don't know if you're following, but the kind of brightness and crispness on the guitars were like it was like before Against Law, after Against Law. It was kind of like that, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, that was definitely a departure from our normal sound when we did Against the Law, and I enjoyed doing it. I thought it was really organic in a sense.
Exactly. Organic. Is
Yeah. So, and surprisingly enough, we kind of went that route on this new album, a little more organic on the tones. So, when you listen to the new album, you'll notice that it's just one guitar per channel. It's like left and right. Michael's on the left, I'm on the right, and you can pretty much hear us, with our tones, and it's a more straight-in sound. Less.
actually, this is how I first listened to the album.
Oh yeah, headphones.
Straight to the speakers. I put on a headphone and say, I want to feel everything.
Right.
What kind of headphones are you using there?
The volume and the EQ, and say, okay.
Yeah. What kind of headphones are those, Alex?
Well, I have Steel Series. I have AKGs. I have Sony's. I have Tascam Studio ones.
Okay.
I have, because I produce music as well, so
cool.
I have to have a different kind of headphone. So I always try, depending on what kind of sound I prefer. On metal and rock and roll, I like to have the Steel Series because they have like good mid ranges, and it's not like there's no peak of very high or very low. It's like very well balanced. But licks a lot of sound. So my wife always know when I'm listening to rock and roll because it licks a lot. This one isolates better, but this one sounds better, but licks a lot of sound.
Oh yeah. That's cool. Yeah. Well, the only time I really use headphones is when everybody's asleep. So
I use mine all the time because I don't take mine.
Yeah, Sennheisers. I got Sennheisers.
Oh, very nice. I'm using some mono.
I have Sennheiser as well. I use more for like video production.
Yeah.
I think their lights there just well in my head. And but I don't like the Sennheiser for rock and roll because I don't at least the models I have. I have two different models.
Yeah.
And they kind of sound like kind of funky, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, I guess to each his own, right? Right on. So, other than that, I don't know.
I got another question, if you allow me.
Oh, you're full of questions tonight, aren't you, Alex?
I've been waiting 30 years for this Q&A, man.
Okay, go for it. Go for it, man.
No, I'm technical questions because I'm in the industry. I'm mainly a professional photographer and produce stuff, but I love equipment. I love gear. I'm like a gearhead. My wife, every time I come home with something new, my wife like, turn her eyes. Okay, what's this now?
I'm sure you've heard of musicians' gas, gear acquiring syndrome. So,
Yep.
you know.
Exactly. So I saw Robert playing with DW drums, and it's not. He used to have like fancy drum sets and stuff. Like he's well reduced right now, right? It's like kind of
Well,
tired of
it's
putting a lot of stuff around.
it's not the '80s anymore. You know, we don't. We're the days of the '80s where it was giant production is
Yeah.
it's gone. So really, to be honest with you, Robert is subject to whatever we can afford to rent for him when we play somewhere. So he doesn't have a lot of drums. You know, it's too back in the day when he could take his whole set out. You know, where we had a semi truck taking all our gear. You know, he could have whatever he wanted, but that's
bands.
a lot of money to do that, you know. And for us to play in another, you know, outside of our, you know, our homes, we can't carry all of our stuff. And to be honest with you, I think most of those drums that Robert has, he has stored. You know, he's when he's at home, I think he has an electronic kit that he practices on. But he doesn't really take out any of his stuff anymore. I know for the longest time he was with this company. Trying to think of the name of it. Oh gosh, I can't remember the name of it. He's been with them for the last few years. Crush.
Crush.
Yeah, he's got a few Crush kits that I know he's got in storage at home somewhere, or I don't know where, but some of them are in our storage. The band has a storage unit in Nashville.
Exactly.
But he can't really use them unless we're touring with all of our gear, and we haven't really been doing that because it's a lot of money to do that.
I can understand. Usually how many guitars do you take on the road?
I try to take no more than 2.
Really?
Have one as a backup.
Just one as a backup, or if I have to have a drop D tune.
Right.
You
Sure,
know,
y'all always use E flat, don't y'all?
we always play a half step down in Striper. That's correct. And so that would be actually a D sharp, and then from there, if you drop the actual E string down a whole step, then that would be a drop C sharp.
Right.
If you're thinking correct music, okay. We don't ever say that. We just say drop D and whatever.
Yeah.
You know, just bring it down a half step, keep it the same lingo. You know, it's positioning. But I mean, I'd rather just take one guitar. I mean, if I could get away with playing one guitar, it's way easier to travel. Okay, because I got to carry all that stuff to the airport. I don't have a guy to carry all that stuff for me. You know, and I'm, you know, I'm an old man. I don't want to carry stuff. Young guy like Corey can take 3 guitars or 4 guitars with him to the airport. Not me.
What got y'all using E flat in the beginning as opposed to standard or something else?
What's that? Say that again.
What got y'all using E flat tuning as opposed to standard?
Do I like it?
Like what got y'all started using it as opposed to standard?
Oh, the reason why we started was a long time ago when we were playing in the clubs, when we were even just kind of starting to develop the band. We did it mostly because it was like Van Halen tuned.
Right.
That way, Ed Van Halen always tuned down a half step, and so we got used to, because we were like trying to learn Eddie Van Halen stuff, and we tuned down. We started playing that way, you know.
Right.
And so it kind of stuck. I mean, as many times as I thought, well, let's try going up, Michael would be like, oh, I don't want to do that. No, let's keep half step
I know
down.
some people do it to match their voice better. I don't know if he did it that,
That was another part of it. It helped the vocal not to be so stratosphere, so to speak. But I actually, that black guitar I just brought over here, that's tuned to standard tuning.
Oh, I've
And
got
so-
my tele. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, sorry.
I thought the different color was the drop D. Is the different color on your bridge, on your, you know? You
Yeah,
have
no.
like a black rose.
No, I have a Floyd Rose, but I don't have anything that adjusts that. I don't use the.
Oh.
I tried using one of those D-tunas,
Uh-huh.
and it doesn't work because I've used floating. My bridges float, so I can't use it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Go ahead.
yeah, and so I have. I've got that black guitar at standard tuning with a Floyd, and then I've got this Les Paul at standard tuning. Got a couple of acoustic guitars that I have at standard tuning, and then the GJ2 Grover Jackson guitar back here, that's down a half step.
Right.
And I got a couple of Jacksons in the next room that are in cases that every once in a while I break out, and those are down a half step.
What
So-
strings do you use on your electrics?
Well, everything's light gauge 9 to 42, just like it says here.
All right.
9.
42.
Yeah, 9 to 42. I think it's 9, 11, 16, 24, 32, and 42.
So the strings are pretty loose, like in E flat, aren't they?
Yes, they are very, very loose. Looser, I should say.
Right.
So you have to have a light touch on it, otherwise they start to go out of tune if you press it too hard on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't like to use anything low.
Right. Like thin enough to bend and strong enough to keep the tune.
Right, yeah, so you have to just kind of know how to play those strings. Because, I mean, I switch, when I play my Les Paul, it's got 10s on it,
Right.
1046, and those are stiffer. And,
Right.
and if, by the way, putting 9s on the Les Paul is even worse for some reason. For some reason, it's looser with
Right.
9s.
I could put the same set of strings on my Schecter over here in my Telecaster, and they'll feel totally different with the ways that,
Yeah.
the Tele's a lot looser.
Yeah. So, but the reason why I have thicker strings on my Les Paul is because not only does it sound better, but it's easier to play jazz.
Right. I know a lot of jazz guys use some pretty thick strings.
Thick strings, yeah. It really is easier. Jazz is more of a when you're playing jazz chords, you really have to move your fingers in a lot of different positions,
Right.
And you're like, doing all this crazy stuff that when you're jumping around, it's real easy when you have lighter strings to overbend some strings.
Definitely.
And so that makes it harder to be precise with the jazz. But because I'm so used to having a light touch, I'm kind of adjusting myself to move my fingers around,
And if you're playing both sides, you have to do that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's really kind of one of those things that I never had to experience before in my life until I started playing jazz, and it was like, wow, okay. It was almost learning jazz as opposed to playing rock for the last 30-some years is like trying to learn how to speak Chinese.
Really?
You've been playing English all your life, speaking English all your life.
Right.
So it's crazy.
That's great. I got a question for you in the music business. You guys went through two major transformations in the industry. In the 90s, when the Nirvana and bands like that with the new sound came, killed a lot of hair bands and everything. Then you guys went over and everything. You guys broke up, get back together. Then came the major change, the internet, which you don't have anymore the big record label throwing money, high budget video clips, and millionaire tours. If you're not Britney Spears, you're, it's stuff like that. So how you guys were able to deal with these changes, when you're in the middle of your game? Like in the first change, you guys were on the top of your game with Against the Law, and then came the internet and changed the whole game again, like recording and playing and touring. So how you guys have to readjust for this situation?
Well, I mean, it's completely different than it was, back in the day. Back in the day, obviously, the way money and tickets and records were sold, there was more money coming in. And now that's all gone. It's a completely different industry now. So it's turned into, we have to budget everything, and we don't have a lot of money to do what we used to do. So we've had to adapt and find ways to make it work with less money, and that's the reason why you don't have elaborate productions anymore. And unless you're like the big production
Taylor Swift
stars, yeah, exactly. Those are the people that have a lot of money, that have had a lot of money pumped into them, and it's kind of, they're the now thing, and they have their record labels are spending millions to promote, and for us, we don't have that anymore. Now we kind of have to rely on social media, to promote, and so thank God we have that. I mean, that's been a blessing to be able to announce that whatever is going on with the band is announced on the internet, and people are seeing it and saying, okay, hey, let's go out and make that happen, buy whatever it is you have to announce. They catch on, and of course we do have a label that's in Italy that they do put some money into the publicity, but not as much as the old days for us, and they certainly don't have the budgets that Taylor Swift has, with the kind of labels the kind of label money that she has behind her. But even then, I mean, you think about it, all of the radio stations and the video shows and whatever else you want to say, nobody's playing our stuff. Nobody's playing Striper music, and it's still, there's a lot of bands from our era that don't get much airplay, other than the bands like that were like, you're always going to hear Dokken and Rat, Def Leppard. Those are all bands that. Motley Crue, yeah, these are bands.
Rock Rio a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. See,
sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, they sold so much that they're still able to, and they got so much promotion back in the day that they're still kind of on that, riding on that horse, so to speak.
Motley Crue just came out here, I think, with Alice Cooper, and the pastor of my church happened to run into Alice Cooper.
Yep.
Was Motley Crue breaking up?
They're talking about how this is their last tour.
Okay.
Yeah, they announced on Rock in Rio like it was like the very last show in Latin America, and will be one of the last shows ever. So they just played for 90,000 people. So I don't know if they're still willing to break up after 90,000 people singing along your song. So.
Well, Motley Crue in the 80s, the late 80s, they struck a core nerve in the rock industry that exploded. Okay, that rebellious kind of, in your face kind of, Vince Neil is, as far as singers go, he's not the greatest singer in the world, but he had a character to him that drew a lot of people to that music.
Plus the reality shows and stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure that helped, but I mean, that's not what initially started him. It was the band. The band had that sound and that draw, that rebellious kind of thing going on. And so that's what made Motley Crue popular, and they sold millions of records. You know, unfortunately for Stryper, we were a little bit too clean for the rock world, and so
for the Christians.
there was only a handful of people that caught on to what we were doing, and thank God we had those people that made us gold and platinum sellers, because that's what we're riding on right now. We're riding on what those people were after back then with us, and those people are still around, and then there's a younger generation that those people were raised with, you know, like yourself, Corey. I mean, your parents kind of probably turned you on to Stryper.
Definitely, yeah.
Huh? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's kind of how the younger generation is learning about Stryper, and they're catching on, you know.
Yeah, you see a lot of families in the shows, right? In Orlando, I always see like a lot of father and sons and stuff like that.
Right.
So like little kids with Stryper shirts, dressed in yellow and black, and they say, "Come on, kid, you're like what, 10?" And they're like, they sing along, they know everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So anyway, that's like I said, I'm very thankful that we've had all those years of those fans, because that's what's keeping us alive now, and that's what allows us to come out and still tour and still make albums, and now we've got an album after it's already been since 2003 when we first started playing together. Since we got back together, it's now people are really, you know, catching on to this new one, and still, I mean, you know, we're not. I don't expect that this album, unless somebody gets us on big media, you know, I don't know that we're gonna really do what we did in the '80s at all. I mean, if anything, I'd be happy to see us. I think the last album sold like just over 20,000 units, you know, here in the States, and I'd be happy to see 30 or 40, you know, if that happens. If it goes more than that, then great, you know. But to be honest with you, there's a lot of bands from our era that just don't sell records anymore. And we're
doing a promotion here in Brazil. They're promoting a lot.
Yeah.
You can hear Stryper on the radio and everything.
That's
Got
great.
Friends in the radio industry, they all playing the record, you know.
Yeah, it's great. So I'm very thankful and very happy that, especially this new album, because we really did try to do something different with this album, and I think we accomplished something different that was probably what people were waiting for, I would say. So, great. Hey, Jay, how you doing? Kind of been lost in there.
Well, yeah, I was doing some stuff, but yeah, I just wanted to stop in and say I love the new album, dude. It is killer.
Awesome,
so,
thank you.
Been a fan since Yellow and Black Attack, and been fortunate enough to see you guys several times since '03, and I don't miss a show in Denver. So if you come back to Denver, I'll be there.
So were you at that last show we did when we were in Denver?
At Castleman's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't that an awesome show?
That was an awesome show.
That was a great show. Now, we hadn't been to Denver in a while.
Right.
So I think that's probably why we had so many people show up, because we hadn't been there in so long.
That was a fantastic show, and the guys at Random Hero opened up for you, and those guys are killer too. So yeah, the fact the lead singer of Random Hero is the nephew of my bass player and acoustic guitar player for my praise band here at church.
Oh, nice.
I live in Casper. You guys played Casper several years ago.
Okay.
And I was one of the few people that showed up to that show for you, but you know, hey.
Yeah. Great.
But no, I just wanted to let you know. I saw you're on here. I just wanted to let you know from the middle of the country in the little small state of Wyoming, we're still rocking your stuff, man.
Well, cheers, brother.
It's awesome. Awesome. Good to talk to you.
Yeah, good talking to you too.
So if you come back to Denver, I'll be there, buddy.
Awesome, Jay. Thanks.
Hey, take it easy, guys.
All right.
All right, bye.
Bye.
It's incredible because rock fans are like the most loyal, right? So they buy the records, they buy the shirts, they go to the shows. So that's keep up, you know, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's fantastic. I'm really happy that we still have a lot of fans, which really awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Any place to come to South America for the next album tour?
Well, I mean, I would say we are completely open to and would like to come back. So hopefully there will be someone who can bring us down there. You know, a good promoter. You know, the last guy that brought us down worked it out, and we played a good handful of shows. The problem that I think the biggest problem we had was that the way they booked it, it was really hard on us.
Yeah, Brazil is really big. So
We
it's
we
kind
we we had to do 3 shows in a row, and then we only had 1 day off, and then we had to go play in Argentina in
when Michael lost his voice, right?
right, and so that's the reason why, because it was too hard. We need to do at least we could do 2 shows, then we need a day off, then we could do 2 shows, and then we could do a day off, and it has to be that way for us, or else it doesn't work, you know. Or 2 shows and 2 days off, you know. I mean, but the problem is money. If they can get the money up to make that kind of a thing work, then we can come down there and do it and make it do a decent, you know, tour. And we have a lot of people that we met down there that really want it to happen. So hopefully it will happen, you know.
I think it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Because you know you have a big I think you never realized how big was the fan base in Brazil, right?
Well, the first time we went to Brazil, it was really pretty surprising. Because we played São Paulo and Belo Horizonte with the first time we came, and I don't even remember what year that was.
3 years ago, 4 years ago, probably.
Yeah, probably.
At the Carioca Club in São Paulo, I was there.
Okay, and it was we were really surprised to see as many people that showed up. You know, it was really crazy. You know, so it was always in the back of our head to want to come back and play, and obviously we did. You know, so it was great. It's great, and I hope.
Back in 1984, I was the president of the fan club, Brazilian Striper fan club.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I started listening to you guys since Roxy Region.
Wow.
So back then.
Yeah. That's awesome.
You know, I have a lot of friends in America. They always, you know, I love metal, and I was Christian, so I am Christian. So they always bring Christian rock to me. But Christian rock back then was like, you know, bad,
Right.
not good things. And, you know, I've always been a fan of Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath, and everything. But
Right.
it was kind of like every time I listened to these records with the church guys, everybody was like, "Give me that."
Wow.
The first time I introduced the Striper was the Yellow, Black, and Tech, and the first cover, Without Reason for the Season, the very original one.
Yeah.
And it can't be Christian. It can't be talking about God. And when I put the record on, and everybody became a fan, like instant. It was back in 1984. So.
Yeah. That's cool, man.
That's very cool. And actually, I had an accident 2 years ago when I lost my 2 legs. And the only thing I could hear in my ears was Striper songs. Helped me go through all my recovery process.
Really?
I had prosthetics and everything.
Oh man, dude.
Yeah, but Striper was my soundtrack.
Oh man, that's awesome, dude.
Only thing I listened the entire time was Striper.
Wow. That's amazing.
So helped me a lot to go through all this process.
Well, big time blessings to you, brother. You're a casualty. A rock casualty.
Yeah. So I'm very proud. You know, I just posted on my Facebook page as soon as the video was available. I put a link, and I'm always promoting Striper here. You know, I have like hundreds, maybe thousands of people who were introduced Striper by me. You know, I introduced Striper to them.
Yeah.
It's been 30 years.
Yeah, that's great, man. It looks like we got somebody named Rex here. Rex.
Hey, Oz.
How are you?
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, excellent. Hey, I just got the album yesterday.
Nice. Nice.
you guys never disappoint.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've been a fan since I'd say '86.
That's a long time.
Yeah, I've seen you guys. I mean, you guys meant a lot to me. You guys mean a lot to me.
Well, that's awesome, man. Thanks for hanging in there for so long.
Oh yeah, I mean, even during that downtime, Michael Sweet solos and Robert solos, and I was all over them.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. It's great.
So, but would like to see you guys come to Nebraska sometime.
Aha. Yes, Nebraska. Yeah, well, it'd be great to get up in that area. We haven't been there in a while.
Since '86.
Yeah. Yeah, so hopefully we'll make it sometime in the next year, because we're not going to start touring again until April, I think, or we're start doing dates, I should say. We're not really going to be doing long tours. We'll probably be doing fly-in dates and doing 3 shows a weekend. Which is what we've been doing, unless we catch some kind of a big, if you get one of those tours that you go out and travel with a bunch of bands, then it'll be different. But but I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, we'll make it up there. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of fans up here, man.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
All right, take care of yourself.
All right, man. Thanks for chiming in.
Yep.
All right. Cool.
All right.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm just pretty happy with the new video. I don't know if you saw the new video or not. Either.
I did too.
I haven't had a chance to see it yet.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. When you get a chance, if you haven't seen it, take a look at it.
Definitely will.
Yeah. We just shot that. I think it was September. I want to say it was like September 13th, and we did it in LA. And
What was that location? Was it a garage or something?
what's that?
What kind of location was that?
It was just a studio with brick walls. They set up all the amps, and by the way, Boogie did provide all of that stuff for the video.
Yeah.
They I think somebody called him. I don't know if it was our manager or Michael or somebody, and basically said, "Hey, would you be interested in hooking us up with gear for the show in Anaheim and for the video shoot?" And they were like, "Oh yeah, let's do it." They did it. And they had it all delivered. Which was great. It was great to see that they were willing to do that for us. So
did you get to keep the gear?
No.
Oh.
They don't give you. Boogie doesn't really give gear away. I don't know if you know that. They sell the gear to you.
Like I know I'm good.
Yeah, they'll give us a good deal on it if we want to buy it, but they won't give us anything. That's pretty much the way that works.
Gotcha.
So, but it was nice that they let us use the gear. So that was great.
Yeah, it looked really amazing because it was just brick walls, and those walls of Boogies make like really special.
Yeah.
Look like really professional. Look really good.
Yeah.
I like the result. Some people was criticizing about, it's just simple and this and that. I say, come on, guys, it's a new era. Nobody has like $200,000.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
So flybys and cranes.
Yeah. You never know. Someday that could change. Who knows?
I do have a question of like whenever bands tend to have the walls of cabinets, it's all for show, isn't it?
I would have to say yes.
I thought
for the most part, because really you don't need to run a ton of stuff like that. Even back in the day when we were touring with stacks and stacks of Boogie cabinets, even though I might have had like 12 rows of Boogies behind me, I was only using 8 cabinets that were right behind me.
Because it'd be really hard to mix, I would think.
Well, and not so much that it's hard to mix, is that you'd have to amplify every one of those cabinets,
Right.
and to do that, you gotta have heads, all working heads, and it's just ridiculous to take that much gear and plug that many amps in and
Backline.
yeah, to play live with.
Right.
They actually, Boogie sold us dummy cabinets that didn't have real speakers in them. They looked like they were real speakers, but they didn't have magnets on the back. So, so we had 40 cabinets of Boogies, but not all of them were real. Just the ones that were directly behind us were real, and then we had amplifiers that would, a couple different amplifiers that would amplify those cabinets.
Right.
But it was never all of them, and I don't think any band does that. I think it's
Exactly. I remember when Van Halen played here in Brazil, they had like this stack of JCM 9000s, but every single one was off. So there was like just 2 on.
I think I've heard before that, Kiss had a whole bunch of cabinets, but they actually just mic'd like a Fender under the stage.
More they did that.
I'm sure it was something like that. I mean, they probably would have. They might have like told everybody, oh, they're all on and they're all working, but I don't know. I mean, to me, I think that those guys were all about show, and
Right.
I'm pretty sure they didn't have them all going.
I wouldn't think so.
No. So, kind of how that rolls, So.
I think it'd be a lot better to have a small amp and just put, and just mic it to a PA.
To be honest, it's even better if you can just run like one cabinet and mic it and get a really good sound out of it. Because if you can at least get, well, the way I run it, I run a little differently than most guys, but one cabinet can sound really good. I love playing in a small place with one cabinet in my head, and then I can run a little guitar through the monitors,
right?
Just to kind of give me a little bit more volume on myself. But when I'm using, usually with Striper, they give me 2 stacks. They're either, they'll give me 4 cabinets, and I'll have 2 cabinets with 1 head on each side. Okay, and the way I run those cabinets is one of my heads runs the bottom 2 cabinets, and the other head runs the top 2 cabinets.
Oh, that's cool.
Reason why I do it that way is because the bottom cabinets I crank so that they've got some air, they're pushing some air.
Right.
And that's the one that gets mic'd. Okay? And then the top cabinet, I slave to the other head running the top 2 cabinets, and I just bring those cabinets in just the volume up a little bit on the top cabinets so that I can hear myself, but it's not blasting my ears.
Right.
So I almost kind of use it just to enhance what the bottom cabinets are doing. I can hear the bottom cabinets blasting, but I don't want them blasting directly in my ears. So I just bring the top 2 cabinets with the other head, just the volume, just enough so I can hear it. And if for some reason I'm playing out there and something's going on I can't hear, I can just bring those up just a little bit more, and I can adjust that volume where I can hear the cabinets behind me more. And then I'm not adjusting the mix because the bottom cabinets are what's being mic'd.
Right, that's smart.
Yeah. And then sometimes what Michael will do is Michael likes to use 2 cabinets behind him that's powered.
Yeah.
But he'll put 2 cabinets and then 1 in the middle. Mm-hmm. And sometimes he'll run an extra line off of the bottom cabinets are running. He'll run another line off of that bottom cabinet head, like the output. There's like a send you can send off of the effects loop. He'll send that over to another head that he has, a spare head he has, and he'll amp his cabinet with my tone. so he can turn me up just a little bit because he can't hear me. So he turns his stuff is so loud he can't hear what I'm playing. He likes to play with me. So sometimes he'll plug me into that middle cabinet and turn it up.
That's cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah, so it just depends. Depends on what kind of setup we have and if we have the cabling and the amps to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It-
What about in-ears? You guys don't wear in-ears?
we have done that. Recently, we've done it, and it works. It works just as good. I actually personally like to have in-ears because I can keep the volume down,
Right.
so to speak. The problem with in-ears is sometimes it's well, see, there's a problem with volume level on stage.
And you use
Michael.
protection, right?
Well, no, Michael doesn't like to keep. It's like, here's what I think. You use in-ear monitors so you don't have to have monitors on stage.
Uh-huh.
That's the logic,
Yeah,
okay?
exactly.
And it's a lot cleaner, okay?
Mhm.
And for some reason, Michael has it stuck in his head that we need to keep the monitors on in the front stage.
In-ears.
And we got in-ears in, so as soon as I go up to the front and there's monitors blasting from the sides, I can't hear these
Boom, boom, boom.
because his volume from the side fills are so loud, and he wants to keep it up loud for whatever reason. He's got really the only reason he says is, well, what if our in-ears go out and I can't, something happens, I got to use the monitors that are on stage. We're stuck without monitors if we don't have monitors. I'm like, okay, dude, whatever. So he'll set up his monitor mix while we have in-ears. So as soon as I walk up to my microphone, it's blasting from the sides, and I have to turn the pack on my ears up, and then it'll damage my ears. Okay? So then, in that case, then I just take my microphone that's, I got a side monitor right here at my microphone where I'm singing. All I do is I move my microphone back about 3 feet, and then those monitors are blasting in front of me, and then I can hear more of my guitar amp behind me if I need it, but I usually don't have it that loud, and I just use the in-ears.
No, but what goes through the in-ear? Everything or just vocals?
Whatever we want. I mean, I can have guitar, vocals, drums, bass, all that stuff. And then there are some songs that we've done some tracks with, that we need to use tracks on. So.
Mhm. Honestly, when you don't have a keyboard player and stuff like
Right.
that.
If you want to do honestly, like the original one, you got to use tracks
Mhm.
with a piano.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you can't do the song original.
Right.
So that's kind of how that works.
Mhm.
But I do like to have in-ear monitors even when we're not using tracks. I like having it because I can keep the volume lower.
Mhm.
I don't like to have loud blasting monitors because it'll damage my ears.
And there's always the delay, right? So the stage delay versus the in-ear sound.
No, it's
make confusion.
there's not that much of a delay. Can't really tell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't like in-ears with monitors. Every time I have to use the in-ears, I ask to turn down the volume of the monitors because they hear. They not everybody have in-ears. So if you have an in-ears and they put in the monitors, it's like a constant fight between monitors and in-ears.
Right.
It's crazy.
But do live bands have to play with a click track?
Do we play with click track?
Is that a common thing?
Usually when you have to run tracks, you do have to have a click.
Click.
Yeah, because you can't rely on just the tracks going off. You got to hear something going. You have to have a constant click to keep time.
Right.
And the drummer's got the same click, so he's listening to that same click and playing along. So you can at least everybody's kind of in sync when you have that going.
Right.
And that helps out quite a bit. So kind of have to have it.
Right.
Otherwise, everybody goes off from what the tracks are doing, and next thing you know,
Speeding up or slowing down.
yeah.
Right.
So disconnected.
So that is a must.
Yeah, since when you guys start using click? So I can't recall when in the 80s they started using click. It was like back then, or it was like mid
Well,
80s.
we playing live. We were doing it in the '80s for a little while, and then on certain ones that we had to use tracks on, and then recently we had to use click. When we were in Brazil last, we had to use it because we were doing songs that had big production vocal and all that stuff, honestly and all that. But then when we play without click, we just follow each other. You know, we don't need it. So
Like fun.
yeah, it's a little more looser and stuff. So anyway.
Very nice.
Well, listen, guys, I've been on here for about an hour and a half. I think I got to go get some food and.
Yeah. Thank you for doing this. It's been an honor to get to talk to you.
Yeah, man. Hopefully we'll do it again. I only came on just because I was interested in seeing if there was anybody out there that was going to be chiming in about the new album, and I posted it on my Facebook page. And
I'm gonna send you this picture over the internet.
okay, you do that.
Okay, got a question for you. Can I have a picture?
One picture.
I'll put it in my Facebook page.
All right.
Let me move the monitor here.
Okay, you ready? I'm gonna give you the old thumbs up, and you take it. Did you take it?
Let me have another one.
Take it again. There. I'm gonna talk so that we can get my picture up there, and you can get a good shot. Whoa! Got to get me on there.
Yeah.
Well,
Did it work?
I got you.
I use the snipping tool already built into the computer to take a screenshot of this conversation.
Oh yeah. Yeah. If you want to get it, did you get one there, Corey?
I did. I got one earlier during the thing.
Oh, okay. All right. Great. Well, hey, great talking to you guys.
You too.
I'll probably do this again sometime. You know, I don't know, maybe later on in the month.
That'd be awesome.
I'll
All right.
send you I am.
Okay. Sounds good. You guys have a great night.
You too. God bless.
Okay.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate that.
Yeah. No problem. All right. God
Good
bless. Take care, guys.
You too.